I just want to create awareness that this exists, is cheaper, it's better, and people just don't know about it. So basically, you did nothing. You are not spending for electricity every month. Your initial investment is quite high, like 10 lakhs for an average person is a lot. But
Upfront.
yeah, upfront is a lot. But the government has also done solutions for that. You have
Mm,
zero interest and zero down payment EMIs for renewable systems, and
mm,
basically you can do it for the whole 25 years. You know the fog smog scene in Delhi, and
mm,
also in last year the air quality went down to 140,
mm.
180 or so. So it's going bad, and it's going bad for us. In the end, we are the ones who are going to be affected, or our kids or our future generations are going to be affected. So if we don't show the awareness right now towards this, then it's going to be very difficult. So what you do is, for the whole of the 25 years what you have the system, you will be paying an installment little bit, but after the first 7 years, when your initial cost has been made, like you have made substantial amount, you will be making 8,400 and 90 rupees monthly by selling it to the government, and
Yes.
you will be making 1 lakh. So within 7 to 8 years you'll make your initial cost of investment. Adani Group has made this thing, solar calculator for India, and
Mm,
according to all states. So you get the
mm,
irradiance there, you get what is the cost, and this has been calculated with Bangalore cost. That is 7.25 rupees per kilowatt hour. That's the average price of electricity in Bangalore.
mm,
So what you can do on that thing is, you can actually put the specifications of your house, and then try to optimize how much cost you want, what is the thing,
mm,
and you can get the
mm,
whole setup, like for the whole
mm,
these many years. This is the cost, EMI calculator, everything can be done. It's very good
mm.
for solar. I think that option is very nice. It's by Adani Group. It's a solar calculator. You can find it online.
Hi, guys. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. We're going to be speaking about sustainability in the field of real estate. And before I continue, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. And this podcast primarily revolves around real estate in Bangalore, and just we observe the market, we talk about it, we log about it, and we podcast about it. We get people involved in the real estate sector in Bangalore and ask questions, weird, stupid questions that might be useful to someone listening. So if you haven't subscribed or liked the episode, just like the episode, do us a favor, and you can fast forward to other segments of the episode where I get into conventional and versus sustainable materials, the differences and the pros and cons, the sustainability market in Bangalore or around India, the 3D printing and the possibility of sustainable 3D printing, if there is any such thing, solar energy as a technology, and wood as a sustainable material. And finally, Sachin breaks down or gives us a practical example as to how in India we can make use of sustainable materials and get better return on our investments. That being said, it was a very interesting episode. Hope you guys liked it. And sustainability in the field of real estate is a growing sector. There are a lot of good materials. There's a lot of good design related projects that are coming up. I see them in the new. I see that in the news too. So this is my effort to bring around somebody who understands sustainability, and to put it in a way that possibly we can implement it in our future projects. Hope you guys liked it, and this is the rest of the episode. See you guys.
Mm, mm,
So I live in the eastern border of Netherlands, which is the border for Germany, and I'm
mm,
is on the ocean side, so it's
mm.
closer to UK, like that.
Right,
So I came
right.
here to do my master's in sustainable energy technology, and currently I'm doing my thesis in wind energy. So
Mm.
that's it about me.
That's so. How did you get into like the sustainable aspect of it? Like, where did you see that coming? Like, how did you realize like sustainable technology is going to be the future, and like what piqued your interest?
Yeah, the thing was, see, when we were studying, like when I was doing my bachelor's in Ramaya, it was the craze or the word sustainability, how crazy it is now. It wasn't like that.
Mm,
It was
mm,
like it was just creeping back. Like, okay, sustainability is coming up, sustainable development and shit like that. But what is happening right now is the craze behind just the word has become so much that the real value of sustainability, or
mm,
the real meaning of the word, is being lost, because
mm,
it's like how people are buying organic fruits, vegetables, and it doesn't actually make much of a difference, according to me. That's my opinion. But sustainability is just like, it's not just, so it started with the word by sustaining, like us sustaining, and then it went to how we can make our life better. But now the thing is, like, it's not about us, it's about the future, and it's about the future of the planet and our species. So sustainability
mm.
is basically that. And I can
Right.
explain it with a very easy example, like this philosopher called Timothy Morton. So Timothy Morton is a, what is that thing called, objective philosopher. And
Mm,
what they do is they pinpoint an issue and try to understand the real world scenario. So he came up with a term, he coined a term called hyper objects. So hyper objects are things that us as a generation in our current state, we cannot grasp or understand, like global warming or radiation, sustainability in that way, because it's so far ahead that in our timeline it will not give us a feedback. And us as humans, current in our current society, we work on feedback. It's like, you're doing good, man, you're doing good, and you can see the work, so you're more interested in it. But sustainability is reached a peak that you have to look into the future, you can't look in for yourself. So getting that in mind is a little difficult.
what does one expect if you go to study in the field of sustainability and technology? Somebody goes who's going abroad, or who wants to go abroad. What are some subjects that one expect to start learning at the beginners level there?
It's actually very vast. Like, if I try to explain the education system, how it works here, it's very complicated.
Mm.
But in
Just subjects wise.
in a simple way, it's like, you start with a field. So basically, my department, sustainable energy technology, is pretty very wide. So I had option of choosing going into wind or chemical or biomass,
Mm.
anything. So how it works is, you select your core subjects, and then you select subjects which are in that. So for example, like, if you want to do something with composites, so you take a subject which understands the crack mechanism when you're curing the, so it's like that, focused.
Mm.
So basically they channelize your study path so focused that when you're done, this will be the field you're a master in. So basically, you when you're done, this is the only thing you'll know. So it's kind of like that also, but you will be the best in that. It's like that.
Mm.
In a way, it's
What makes ho- after choosing sustainability, like what's the other niche topic that you were talking about? Like what did you get into?
so I'm basically getting into composites in terms of making composites for wind turbine blades. That's like my
Mm.
study. So I can study about composites, which can be used for making cars or airplanes or anything. But my focus is for reinforced, like plastics and thermocells for wind turbines. So that's my focus of study here.
Right. I want to ask Sachin, bro, what makes Enschede and Netherlands so focused on sustainable tech?
It's not like that. It's not like that. That is actually
Okay.
a misconception that Netherlands is sustainable. Even I thought that. That's why I came to Netherlands to study sustainability. Education wise, yes, it's they provide the best education in sustainability, one of the best. Even the Nordic countries are doing really well. But in terms of application, Netherlands is quite far behind. Like, for example, it's just 4% of Netherlands
Mm.
energy is from renewable resources. If you compare it
Mm.
to India, we have 18%. So you can't
Mm.
compare like that. Sweden has
Right.
10%. It's like that.
Mm.
Netherlands is not very good in sustainability, but they're providing the best technology, which is being used
Mm.
by the world. So
Mm.
that,
So talk to us a bit about like the future of where you see all of this going.
So I think we can start with I'll explain a little bit about what exactly is sustainable development first. So
Yeah.
I made this chart.
Yes, bro. Please.
So if you guys can see,
Hmm.
there are
Hmm.
three legs: economic
Hmm.
development, social development, and climate and environment.
Environment.
So we all know what is climate and environment. It has to be in a balance for life to exist. So we know that, and we are taking care about it. Then economic development means smart uses of resources and quick distribution. Basically, having awareness of the resources where it's coming from, and just understanding that if we are mining something, we are actually giving out carbon to the environment just by doing that process as well. So that is one of it. So what basic was like, this was the thing when industrial revolution started.
Hmm.
Starts with materials, transportation, assembly, use, maintenance, and disposal. And after disposal, it's rarely it goes back to another materials to.
Materials. Hmm.
So what, after industrial revolution had peaked, we thought we can actually come up with better. We can make the system better. And what they came up with was this. So it is material, transportation, assembly, use, maintenance, recycle or reuse, and then disposal or directly goes to different material. So what
Hmm.
this did was it added two extra steps before disposal. So that is automatically doing like making the process more sustainable. So this was the basis of sustainability, how it all started. But right now we are in a stage that we cannot just be like, okay, I segregate my garbage and I'm sustainable enough. So we have to start thinking from this process now, from here. So we have to think how we can make the extraction of
Materials.
materials itself sustainable.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
the whole thing will have more value. So
Hmm. Sustainable architecture and how is the real estate market? How does that affect the real estate market? You want to get a bit into
yeah,
that?
yeah. Basically, sustainable architecture is something like you create a carbon neutral environment. Basically, there is no CO2 emission happening. Emission in terms of like, even when you make a concrete, when you are extracting stone to make the concrete and everything, even there is like a carbon footprint running all the time. So the first thing could be we have to think about that. Like we have to at least acknowledge that, okay, because I'm buying this concrete, I am actually making the environment worse because this
Hmm.
concrete, there is such big amount of footprint. So understand
Hmm.
carbon footprint for each and every material we use in construction matters a lot. Because for example, like construction right now is the biggest industry in the world, for sure. And by 2050 the population is supposed to be like going up by 33%. And we'll need more houses, so we'll need more places to stay for people. And right now the landfill waste disposal is highest, like 40% of the landfill of the world is from construction waste, like construction disposal. So we have to like start the development with the architecture itself. When it is covering 40% of the thing, so we have to start with this to make a bigger difference in terms of architecture. And it can be with anything like materials or in terms of energy generation of electricity or rainwater harvesting. It can be of anything. So if you want, I will if I can talk about some materials, some new like materials
Please.
that are there.
That was my next question.
Yeah, like I saw your podcast with Ram about hempcrete. Yeah,
Exactly.
that is actually a very good new option for as hempcrete. And there is the ancient options like what we have in villages in India right now is like we use clay, and we use hay and husk, and what is that thing called, grasscrete. It's called grasscrete. They use
Hmm.
clay to make the building blocks. So that was the most primitive. Then comes hempcrete, recycled plastic cretes. Like you make use recycled plastic, make concrete blocks with them without using the real concrete, and then use it for construction. So this and these methods are actually cheaper than using concrete. Like that is the real market study. Also, like futuristic materials like mycelium. Mycelium are like mushroom pores, like mushroom
Mm.
spores. They grow the roots of mushroom spores and they like fabricate a material which is closer to concrete. But that is very futuristic, not yet there. But also a very good option in the future.
Suraj asks, are they safe enough?
What are
And also, Suraj says hi, but he asks, as compared to the conventional construction materials.
yes, yes, very good question. So, like, we cannot change anything if it is not for the better. That's for sure, right? Like, if something is already like good, why would you want to change it if it's not going better? So, according to my research, market research, what I've done, or studies on how the strength of the material works. So majority of the places which are like not in a hazardous area, like on a on a tectonic plate which has more earthquakes, like for example, let's just take Netherlands or Bangalore. Bangalore is one of the safest places in South India. So like there, it actually is much more efficient than using traditional conventional materials. Also, like products like hempcrete and also what is it, Ferroc. Ferroc is also.
What is that?
I have no proper idea about what Ferroc is, but
Mm.
it's a synthetic concrete.
Mm. Mm.
It's very, it's kind of like they also in the process of making it, it takes in carbon dioxide. So it's like even in the process, it's taking in. It's very
Mm.
realistic, not yet there at all. Only prototype.
Mm.
But
Mm.
things like these are actually going to be the future, and it is going to happen. Like the thing is, just we just have to accept it now. And
Mm. 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 Right. So the question I wanted to ask is, see, we have all these tech or construction materials being developed. What about the market in India or like anywhere? Has it turned around for people? Is it a part of where the consumers must be educated enough to ask and like to make the things happen like this, or has the market evolved around this?
yeah, so do you have you heard about Aristotle's philosophy? There are three ways to convince a person by ethos, pathos, and something.
Oh yes, yes, logos, ethos.
Logos. Yes, yes. By emotion, by force, or by manipulation. So, what happened in, like, I'll give you the example of Europe. Like in Europe, they started with the emotions. Like, okay, we need to be this and we need to do that, and for our future, for our kids. But it doesn't work. Like, just emotion is not enough for this to work. So what happened right now is they have made rules in European Union for different countries, different rules. But it's like you have to have so much of like renewable products used, or basically you cannot ex like go over
There's a quota.
the quota of how much you can fuck the world. Basically, it's like that.
Mm,
Like, and what this did is generated interest in people, and also how the real estate market got in here is they started advertising in Italy. They started first in Italy, in Nuovo. I don't know the name of the place. Like what they did was they made a totally zero carbon, like emission free, like totally carbon neutral town, a small area for living. And then they advertised it for cheaper, like just a little cheaper, like not even noticeably cheaper, just like almost same as the normal going price.
5 to 10% probably.
Yeah. And what happened was it also created interest in people to just go towards this path, not only because the government is telling, also it is much better for them. It's futuristic, it's better. They don't have to pay electricity bills for the future, and it's just getting them better. So as a market study, this works. But the thing is, only people cannot be doing this. Government has to also take an initiative, big initiative here. And I think Indian government is doing really well in terms of.
Right, right. So, Bala has a question.
Mm.
I recently read an article about 3D printed house. What materials are used for such constructions? Can sustainable resources like hempcrete be implemented in 3D printing.
Uh,
That's
right
like
now,
mixing two modern technologies
yeah,
into like one.
yeah.
Let's see if 3D printing works first, and then we'll possibly
Uh,
use another evolving technology like hempcrete into 3D printing.
yeah.
But as
The
far as
3D printing right now is like they don't use sustainable materials because
yeah,
they usually use thermoplastics
hmm,
or thermosets majority of the times. So it's basically like resin based, so it has to cure and cool down, and that's the whole theory of how you 3D print something.
hmm, hmm,
It's like
hmm. Molding
molding, yeah, yeah. No, molding in thin air, not without a.
esque. Hmm, 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 hmm.
So the material
So any thoughts?
used are
Any thoughts on yeah? Any thoughts on like solar or like 3D printing in the real estate or the architecture aspect of it?
in terms of solar. See, already like solar energy in terms of technology has peaked. The market has peaked. Like what 70 years back, it was like consider 10,000 rupees for a panel, and now it's what 100 rupees for a panel for a small panel. So it's changed so much that right now the cost of buying a 3D panel does not matter. But what I feel like, if we have to get a 3D printed house, it's more of a like a gimmick now. Not a gimmick, but I can say it's like a gimmick for the future.
It's a far
So
reach.
yeah, it's a much far reach than what we can actually do right now, like,
Mm,
practically. Like
mm.
not for
Right,
companies, for the masses.
right. So the mycelium based thing which we're telling is very interesting. Any such materials which we don't know yet that you wanna let us know in the podcast? Is there anything else?
Oh, like that. Yeah, there are, bro. See, for example, bamboo. Also, like wood batteries. So, yeah, the wood. Like we think making houses with wood is not sustainable, but actually making houses with wood is much more sustainable than making houses with concrete. And
Hmm.
in terms of whole carbon footprint and what you actually use and how the products are done, it's much better to use wood. And it's been proven in northeastern country, northeastern states of India, like Assam, everywhere. They use bamboos for making their construction thing, and it works in for them in environment basis also, because there are a lot of floods, so it doesn't get affected much. And it also works in terms of environmental friendly, like it's made of bamboo. It has they had no they did not dig anywhere to get concrete or get stones, get materials. So it's basically like zero this thing carbon. It's totally carbon neutral.
Mm.
Have done some calculations for how we can actually make it better, like real practical value. I'll try to explain like how practically we can actually make a change, and how, like, I just want to create awareness that this exists, is cheaper, it's better, and people just don't know about it. That's it. It's for example, like how we had a conversation last week. I was talking about the Pepsodent thing. Like, मेरे Pepsodent में नमक है. If that ad comes up on TV 10 times, you would buy the toothpaste with the salt, even though all the other toothpaste will have salt, but they just mentioned it. So it's just like that. So I'll talk about how solar, like in terms of solar, how we can actually make it work in our everyday lives, in our houses right now.
I think Suraj also asked one second. I think Suraj also asked something related to that only. So he's like, can we address the cost analysis of non-conventional construction methods and cover the longevity of the replacements?
Longevity of the replacements.
Yeah, is it as
I understand, but yeah, it's like see,
for
the
example,
it
bamboo
is
will probably have to be replaced faster than concrete, and cement currently costs about 300 rupees a bag. 400. Okay, Roshan says 400 a bag. Yes.
okay. See, the thing is, like, what we are talking about right now is still in beta stage, or we can call it prototype stage, because we cannot still use it. It's just like solar energy, how I explained it. When it started, for example, it was $100 a panel, and now it's 50 cents a panel. So
As the
great. for the technology to be efficient enough to provide the same material in the cost effective way. That doesn't mean that this is not effective. It's just that we need more research or more people working towards it.
And the market, the more it evolves, the demand increases, the prices will probably come down and cheapen enough,
Yes.
right? As with solar, what you were saying.
Yes. And it has to, because we are going to like have no concrete left in a few years, because we keep creating more and more concrete, and what it does is, once the house is destroyed, the actual chemical of the concrete doesn't get destroyed. It's just like that. So it's,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't keep doing these landfills more and more and more, because there won't be any land be left to fill. Have to construct houses on the landfill. So
Right. Right.
yeah, for the solar, I've done some calculations. I will explain it. Full calculation ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಅಪ್ಪ.
Yes, please.
So I did calculation for just taking an example for a 60-40 site. Like, so for a 60-40 site, average, what in Karnataka, the average impedance from solar is 1941 watts per square meter. That's quite a lot, way more than any other place in Europe, like quite a lot. So what happens is, like in this, so we have total 2,400 square feet of area on the roof. Taking an assumption that we don't have roof tanks, and we don't have, like, we have not put walls for the roof, so there is no shading. And I put shading losses to 10%, but there will be much more shading losses for sure. 10% shading losses. And what it shows is the cost by MNRE. MNRE is Ministry of New and Renewable Resources,
Energy.
India. And they have a, what is that thing called? A bracket, like their fixed price for solar systems and wind systems, whichever company you buy it from, the fixed prices. So when you do that, it's 55,000 rupees per kilowatt for in Bangalore currently. So the total cost of installment on a 60-40 site roof is going to be 11 lakhs 5,500 rupees. Okay, and government gives you 30% subsidy on that, which not many people know about. Anything you buy, small or big, you get subsidy from the government if you are using renewable resources. And 30% is quite a lot. So you are spending basically 7 lakhs 73,850 rupees. That'll be your initial cost. Plus maintenance will be 10 to 15,000 a year. Okay. Not no. 10 to 15,000 in 5 years. Sorry, not 10 to 15,000 a year, because solar needs very less maintenance. So what this will generate 14,000 kilowatt hours, and 3,51,000 kilowatt hours a year. Can you imagine how much is that? Like, it will like curb all our needs of electricity for a house which is 60-40. Plus, you will be making 8,400 and 90 rupees monthly by selling it to the government. And
Yes.
you will be making 1 lakh. So within 7 to 8 years, you'll make your initial cost of investment for the whole system. And average lifespan
Storage.
of a solar system, like the whole energy generation system, is 25 years. So in 25 years, you make 26 lakhs 47,000 minus 7.5 lakhs for your investment. So around 15 to 18 lakhs is what you gain from the system. So basically you did nothing. You're not spending for electricity every month. Your initial investment is quite high, like 10 lakhs for an average person is a lot.
Upfront.
Yeah, upfront is a lot, but the government has also done solutions for that. You have zero interest and zero down payment EMIs for renewable systems, and basically you can do it for the whole 25 years. So what you do is, for the whole of the 25 years, what you have the system, you will be paying an installment little bit, but after the first 7 years, when your initial cost has been made, like you have made substantial amount, it only goes from whatever you're generating. So when you're generating something, if you're about to get so much, you will get so much. It's like that.
mm,
Basically, you
mm,
won't be paying anything. It will be totally self-sustained.
mm.
On top, you will save, or you will take out 288 tons of CO2 from the environment. And that is equivalent to 461 teak trees. This research was done by IISc. It's crazy.
Crazy. Right. So, so part of what you're also saying is people aren't aware enough that they can claim the refund also.
Yes.
And how does one search for these renewable, let it be contractors, or is there any kind of a website, or is there any kind of an initiative where we can like go
Yeah,
and search in one place where and it, so that like we can't just search in India Mart or like just through keywords, right? It's very difficult. Is there like a composite place, so to speak?
see, there are these forums, like sustainable development forums in every state or city, wherever, like where people come together and talk about these technologies. And I think following these forums first is the most basic thing to do, because from there you will get to know the local knowledge, not just the knowledge which is being like, okay, somewhere in the world this technology is there. In these forums, you will understand what is the actual
Actual practical
practical
ground level.
ground level thing in your locality. So that
Hmm.
will help us like get more knowledge about what is really going on. And secondly, I think we need to start like pressurizing the government also a little bit,
Hmm.
because uh, the fog smog scene in Delhi, and
Hmm.
also in last year the air quality went down to 140,
Hmm.
180 or so. So it's going bad, and it's going bad for us. In the end, we are the ones who are going to be affected, or our kids or our future generations are going to be affected. So if we don't show the awareness right now towards this, then it's going to be very difficult.
Hmm. Hmm. So Roshan was asking also about like the storage of like I think our cost was included, right? The
Yeah,
storage,
which
the
is included.
aka batteries in the this one.
To get this whole calculation, Adani Group has made this thing, solar calculator for India, and
Hmm.
according to all states. So you get
Hmm.
the irradiance there, you get what is the cost, and this has been calculated with Bangalore cost. That is 7.25 rupees per kilowatt hour. That's the average price of electricity in Bangalore.
Hmm.
So what you can do on that thing is you can actually put the specifications of your house, and then try to optimize how much cost you want, what is the thing,
Hmm.
and you can get the
Hmm.
whole setup, like for the whole
Hmm.
these many years. This is the cost, EMI calculator, everything can be done. It's very good
Hmm.
for solar. I think that option is very nice. It's by Adani Group. It's a solar calculator. You can find it online.
Roshan is talking about the possibility of batteries which are not sustainable.
No batteries are sustainable. Okay.
As of yet. Right.
The
So
concept of storing energy in battery is sustainable, but the battery itself is not. So
yeah, yeah.
it is
Exactly.
coming up. It is coming up. Like for compressed air, I learned this in my first year here. Something like compressed air storage. Basically, I did not understand the thing at all. It's like you are storing energy in some compressed air under the water. So it's hydrogen storing, something like that. So it's very complicated, but it is coming up.
Mm,
That will be
yeah.
sustainable storage.
Yeah. So possibly, renewable sources and storing electricity will meet together with like the incentive of like electric vehicles coming on board in India. Let's say 5 to 8 years, like we have like this,
Yes.
like, sort of movement of like us storing and like giving it back to the, power or like, setting up places where we can like immediately discharge and like give it to like needing cars,
Yes.
some sort of like a tech will be probably evolved. So
Yeah, you're right. In a
initially,
way, like the battery technology and storage technology is actually playing a very big role in terms of us accepting electric alternatives of the
mm,
conventional objects we use or materials we use, car or anything. So in that way, I think battery technology is doing better. But the thing is, even there, we need to understand that we are set towards this mentality that we don't want to make a such a big change in that it will change our normal day routine. You understand? Like, for example, you get a Tesla, it'll be like, oh shit, I have to put it for charge every night. It's like, oh no, it's not like I go to the petrol station, fill fuel, and come back. Not like that. You have to put it to charge every night. So
Like your phone.
that kind of acceptance is needed. It's like it shouldn't be cabaret for people. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Why am I doing this? It shouldn't be like that.
yeah. Exactly. So initial investment, Roshan says, of solar is cheap, but the investment for more for investment for batteries.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the only answer is as tech develops, things get like more affordable. And possibly you never know, right? If you think about it, we have huge cloud servers right now, and the possibly in the future we'll have these huge battery sort of pools, so to speak, right? Like a huge building filled with batteries where you don't have to buy batteries. You can just like buy a share of like the entire pool of like batteries that you have, and like you own it, and like we're sort of moving into like the blockchain aspect of it. That's for another episode, which
Yeah,
Sachin will be
we'll
coming over.
talk about that also. That's also very interesting. I've done a assignment
So
on that about
please,
decent
so
energy.
for the guys who are listening, I'll be getting Sachin over for the blockchain podcast too. So we'll be talking about like that's like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
decentralization of energy.
so Bala talks, yeah, from electricity taking spools. That's what we're talking, and the supply of energy to electric vehicle charging stations, and share the rewards proportional to your contribution to the pool. So yeah, Bala's somewhere talking about something. He's talking basically about pools and decentralized, the model of decentralized finance and blockchain. So that's for another entirely
Yeah,
new
we'll, we'll,
podcast.
we'll talk
Let's
about
not get into that.
a very interesting assignment like I worked last year, and it's
Mm,
basically totally based on decentralization of energy and using smart contracts to have a flow of energy. Basically,
energy.
it's very
Mm,
hypothetical because you can't like give like I can't transfer you energy from my phone, but it is
yes.
possible.
With
We'll
the,
talk about that later in another.
Yes, please. I'm excited for that too. So, before we close the episode, Sachin, just for people who are listening, you're a Bangalore boy, right? So, what's your observation of the Bangalore market over the years? And like, have you searched for lands around Bangalore? And like, what's your experience of like scouting, or like if there's anything like that, looking around for land, and any insights that you get to give for us?
Yeah, the thing is, see, like, my dad is very much interested in like real estate, not in terms of like buying and selling, but he just likes to buy land because he thinks that is the biggest asset there is, more than blockchain or more than Bitcoin or gold. He thinks
Yeah, oldest performing asset
so. He keeps buying land, like not keeps buying, like whenever he has enough money in 10, 15 years,
starts
he
investing.
buys a piece of land. And recently, like before I came to Netherlands, he bought a 34 acres of land in Dodbalapur on Madurai Road. And
Mm,
so what is there now is like he wanted to do something in solar and all this scene. So I told him, like, I did the whole study, like how it should be done, what is the thing, what is the cost, this thing, that thing, that thing. Then suddenly his idea changed, like he wants to do something in agriculture.
mm,
So what is happening is right now the solar idea, what he had initially was amazing, because as a side business for anyone who's there, if you just buy a small piece of land and install solar panels or just wind turbines, like small lightweight wind turbines, you will have a side business without much of a maintenance. You'll need 3-4 people to maintain the place, 15 to 20,000 depending on the size, that we can calculate based on the size. But it is a great viable option. For example, like if you have a parking lot, okay, you can make the roof of the whole parking lot
mm,
with solar panels or small lightweight wind turbines, and then you can have electric charging ports down in your parking, like for
mm,
electric cars. So
mm.
that is totally off grid, totally decentralized, and you are making money for it directly directly from the
mm,
consumer for selling energy. So these
mm.
are like futuristic options which are very, very good. But the thing is, like, we actually have to put our feet into it.
And just get working models so people are like more less more accepting as for
Yes,
the ideas and like
yes. It
right.
shouldn't be like,
That's so
okay, yeah, this is good. We can do it later in the future. It has to be like, see, this is the thing. Right now, we can do it. Let's do it.
exactly. And that's the whole reason I started the podcast, guys, just to get information out there, just make it like, possibly anywhere somebody listening around the world or like probably India, just like, takes a bit of like inspiration and, starts digging into it. And before we know it, they have working models. So, finally, before we part Sachin now, I think what I kept reading in the news from my podcast, right, is more about how Bangalore is shifting to the outskirts and like we're moving and tier two, tier three cities are developing. And since you just said Doddaballapur and stuff, what's the growth trajectory and like how have you seen it? Is it something like that where like the outskirts and like the imminent places around Bangalore are like slowly developing?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Developing. Also, the land prices are going pretty high. Like,
Which is the indicator?
which is a very good indicator of like the development is going to be soon in the future, 5 to 10 years. For example, the Dolapur scene, like after my dad bought the 34-acre land, we have another 5-acre land which is a farmhouse, very old, from my childhood. So he wanted to sell that, and I just forced him not to sell it, because I heard from somewhere that the cricket stadium is going to be constructed in
Hmm.
Kolhapur. Bangalore new cricket stadium is going to be constructed there.
Hmm.
So the value of the site is going to be like skyrocketing. It's going to be
Yes.
so I made him not do that. So things like that. See, rural right now in rural Bangalore, there is crazy development happening in terms of these developments. Like I saw Nitish groups, and there are some 5 6 Bangalore groups, construction groups,
Hmm.
that are solely focusing on carbon neutral buildings, and
Hmm.
that's crazy. That's very good. Like, and it will work much better in new places. That's for sure.
Hmm.
Because if you have to implement anything in an existing, like inside Bangalore, it's already so cramped up. So it's gonna take more effort. And right now, the thought of because Bangalore is ever expanding, and that thought in the new builders is coming that okay, we need to do this sustainably. That's a very good step.
Mm, mm. That's crazy. Possibly, if you when you back over, we can do a real estate drive with you, like we did with KD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sachin, finally, bro, I've been telling this finally, but like I just got another question. What about staying in renting in there versus renting here in Bangalore, renting in HKD versus renting here, or like an average of 1 BHK or 2 BHK? Any kind of relationship or like any kind of relative angle that you can give us? Is it more costly? Like, what changes and what's the same?
More costly. There's no doubt in that, because euro to INR conversion is only 88 rupees. So that's there's no doubt it is costly. But what I'm going to talk about here is like how your salary and your rent, what is the proportion? So the difference here between major difference between Netherlands and India is like the amount of your salary which you are going to spend on your rent is like, I don't know, like double what you would do in India. It's like that. But
Mm,
benefit is you get everything is set. Everything else is set. There are no issues. You don't have to take care of like, oh shit, the pipe is blocked in front of my house. It's like that. So in that way,
mm,
the developed country, so it will have that. The cost,
mm,
but I feel it is kind of justified for the place I'm living. It's kind of justified,
mm,
but it is
mm.
more expensive.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. So we reached the end of the episode. Any final parting words for the people who are listening to the podcast? And we'll meet you on the blockchain podcast like soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining, dude. I'm seeing like a lot of guys from
Yeah.
from school. Yunus is here. Tiamerin was my tuition mate. Oh my God, Suraj Sachdev.
So you should probably start doing more
Jigal
podcasts.
Madi is here. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, yeah, we should. Nice.
That's crazy, bro. Sachin, thank you for coming over.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone, whoever joined in, and really nice questions. We will meet again for another.
Yes.
Uh,
So guys, I'll be saving the episode. If you want to rewatch the episode, you can like share, watch it there. And good evening and good night, guys. Bye bye. Bye, Sachin.
Hi guys, so the following conversation you're going to hear is. Should I redo it? So, the following conversation you are going to hear is. The following conversation revolves around the topic of sustainability. Revolves around the topic of sustainability. The following topics you're going to hear revolves around the topic of sustainability. Hi guys, hi folks. So the following conversation you're going to hear revolves around the topic of sustainability. I introduce, I interview. Okay, right. So the following conversation you're going to hear revolves around the topic of sustainability and sustainability in real estate. Hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. And in this episode, I'll be getting Sachin and and Sachin studies sustainability. Sachin is doing his masters, and I don't want to fucking fuck it up, dude. So quick ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. So Sachin studies sustainability. The following conversation. The following conversation you're going to hear. It's without my. In Netherlands, Sachin is studying. Sachin is studying. Sachin is studying sustainability. I will get into we'll get into the topic, but what you need to know right now is some of the topics that we have covered in the episode, such as the following conversation. Boom. The following conversation is about. Hi guys. Okay, let me. The following conversation you guys are going to listen is around the subject of sustainability. And hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. And in this episode, I will be getting Sachin over, and we're going to talk about this, the whole topic of sustainability with regards to architecture and in real estate. And Sachin is, as I introduce him in the rest of the podcast, he is studying sustainability and especially composite materials. He's studying composites basically, right? He is studying composites. He is studying the field of composites. Okay. The following conversation you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability in architecture and real estate. I will be getting Sachin over. He's studying the field of sustainability in Netherlands. He's studying. Let me do it. Okay, final boy, final. Well, the following conversation you're going to listen to is around the field of around the topic. The following conversation. Okay, now we're looking for jelly. The following conversation you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. I will be getting my friend Sachin. The following conversation you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. I will be getting Sachin over, and we're going to talk about how sustainability places itself in real estate and architecture, and how we can make better use of sustainable materials in the Indian market or Bangalore market. So some of the topics that we go to, and before that, let me say hi guys. This is the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well, and this is a podcast where we dig deep into the field of real estate in Bangalore and assess the market and talk about it in a general sense. Now that being said, let me talk about the subjects that we are getting into in this episode. He Sachin is studying and specializing in the field of composites. And some of the topics that we go into is sustainable architecture, the differences between conventional and sustainable materials, the entire sustainability market, 3D printing, and is 3D printing sustainable in real estate, solar energy as a technology, wood as a sustainable material, and Sachin gives a practical example as to how we can implement all that's being said in the podcast. All that's being said in the podcast. Fine. Hi guys, the following conversation that we're going to listen to. Hi guys, the following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. We're going to be speaking about sustainability in the field of real estate. And before I continue, welcome to another episode of the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. And this podcast primarily revolves around real estate in Bangalore, and just we observe the market, we talk about it, we log about it, and we podcast about it. We get people involved in the real estate sector in Bangalore and ask questions, weird, stupid questions that might be useful to someone listening. So if you haven't subscribed or liked the episode, just like the episode, do us a favor, and you can fast forward to other segments of the episode where I get into sustainability and the subjects that one would be learning, right, when you are studying sustainability as a subject, and sustainable architecture, conventional and versus sustainable materials, the differences and the pros and cons, the sustainability market in Bangalore or around India, the 3D printing and the possibility of sustainable 3D printing if there is any such thing, solar energy as a technology, and wood as a sustainable material. And finally, Sachin breaks down or gives us a practical example as to how in India we can make use of sustainable materials and get better return on our investment. That being said, it was a very interesting episode. Hope you guys liked it. And sustainability in the field of real estate is a growing sector. There are a lot of good materials. There's a lot of good design related projects that are coming up. I see I see that in the news too. So this is my effort to bring around somebody who understands sustainability and to put it in a way that possibly we can implement it in our future projects. Hope you guys liked it, and this is the rest of the episode. See you guys. I can do it. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the field of sustainability in real estate. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. This is a show where I ask weird, stupid questions and try to dig more into the real estate market in Bangalore. We do lots of videos, we do lots of interviews, podcasts, and just I myself am trying to learn what this field is about and what are the possibilities in this field. Before we begin, just try to subscribe and give us a like, comment, so that helps the channel goes forward. And look at our other videos too. We've done some interesting conversations with others. Before we begin this entire episode, I'm going to just briefly tell you guys what are we getting into, what subjects, what topics are we going to talk about. Firstly, Sachin specializes in the field of composites, and some of the topics that we talk about is sustainable architecture, the differences between the sustainable materials and non-sustainable materials or the conventional materials, and the forecast or like the overview of the sustainable market in India, 3D printing. Would 3D printing be sustainable? Is there a possibility? And we also talk a bit about solar energy and this implementation in India. And finally, Sachin gets into wood as a sustainable material, and ultimately he gives us a game plan and an overview, a practical example as to how we can implement sustainable tech in our projects going forward to get decent returns on our investment. So I'm pretty excited, guys. Future relies on using tech, right? Using tech in our day-to-day activities, in our day-to-day projects, and I'm pretty excited as to how we can implement it in real estate. Hope you guys liked it, and I do see a lot of projects, people implementing sustainable stuff like let it be wind. Should I redo this again? And possibly be able to cut it up, chop it up, right? Tech, tech, tech. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the field of sustainability. No, no. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is about sustainability in real estate. In the field of real estate, before we begin, welcome to another episode of the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. Guys, this is a podcast where I get people involved in the real estate sector. We talk about news, we do interviews, we do any type of content that revolves around Bangalore real estate, how do you invest, and do our own market researches and talk about the entire real estate market in general. The following conversation is about sustainability. Sustainability in real estate. What are some different types of sustainable materials that we can use and implement in real estate, and in real estate slash architecture, in the projects that we can go. Oh my God! Fuck. Okay, getting news. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of real estate. Hi guys, the following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability in real estate. Welcome to another episode, guys, The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability in real estate. Hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. This podcast is basically revolves around the real estate market in Bangalore. We do interviews, we do different kinds of content about for investors and people who want to buy homes, and we're constantly searching for new information, and we talk about news and everything that revolves around the real estate market in Bangalore. If you like what we are doing, if you like the episodes, just give us a like, subscribe, and the usual stuff. Hopefully you support us. Before we move on, I'm going to just give you a brief overview of my interview with Sachin, who's studying composites in Netherlands. Who's studying the field of composites basically in Netherlands. And some of the topics that we get into is specialization in composites, his specialization in composites, right? Sustainable architecture and the differences between conventional and sustainable materials, and the sustainability market, 3D printing and sustainability possibilities, solar energy as a technology, and wood as a sustainable material. And we also get into a practical example where Sachin gives us an overview of blah 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 blah. Hi guys, welcome to another episode. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability and sustainability in real estate. Well, if you guys don't know, this is the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about sustainability. I mentioned that before. Before that, the Bangalore Podcast is just a general podcast which creates content, and we talk about the news, we talk about different stuff happening in the real estate market. And give us a like, subscribe, and give us a shout out if you may, if you want to. And In this episode, I will be talking to Sachin, who is into the is studying composites, subjects in sustainability, specialization. Finally, bro, fuck this shit. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. Sustainability in real estate. If you guys don't know, this is the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast, a podcast where we ask different questions to people involved in the real estate sector. We try to pick their brains, and it's more often trying to dig information about the real estate market. I wouldn't, bro. The following conversation that you're going to listen to revolves around the subject of sustainability in architecture. Hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast, a podcast where we dig news and information, everything related, oh my fucking god. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the field of sustainability and the subject of sustainability in architecture. Hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. In this in-depth podcast, I'm going to talk to Sachin, who's in the field of sustainability, and he's studying composites in Netherlands. I might have fucking fucked it up. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is around the subject of sustainability. Sustainability in real estate. Hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. This is a channel where I create content regarding real estate. We check the price, we ask different questions. We basically get educated on the Bangalore real estate market. With that being said, support us, subscribe to our channel, and give us some support. Before I move on to the episode, before I move on to the entire episode, which was recorded live, this episode we talk about some subjects that one has to deal with when studying sustainability. And since Sachin specializes in composites, we talk about sustainability in architecture and in the field of real estate, the differences between conventional and sustainable architecture, sustainable materials. Fuck, I fucked it up, bro. Hi guys, welcome to another episode for the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast. The following conversation that you're going to listen to is basically around the subject of sustainability in real estate. And if you guys don't know, the Bangalore Real Estate Podcast is we create content about real estate in Bangalore, and we ask questions. We try to bring people in the field of real estate and interview them and get to know what are they looking at and what are they observing. Before we begin, some of the subjects that I get into is the field of I've done this, bro. There is some fuck this shit.